It's un-Falcon believable coverage that you won't get anywhere else. This is BG24 Sports.
It was round 2 of women's basketball MAC championship tournament this afternoon. Bowling Green State University women's basketball team against Western Michigan. We'll tell you if the Falcons are still alive. Plus, the BGSU hockey team faces off against Notre Dame in second-round playoff action this weekend. We'll have a preview of that game. And we'll look back on men's basketball season and how it came to a disappointing end. But first, let's get an update on the latest news with Gemma Schultz. Gemma?
Thanks, Kelly. Today's top story, white smoke at the Vatican, which means there's a new pope. Just a few hours ago, the church announced 76-year-old George Bergoglio as their new leader. He was the Archbishop from Buenos Aires, Argentina, making him the first non-European pope, and will go by Pope Francis I. Some students on campus have high hopes for the new pope.
I'm hoping that the new pope is more tolerant of a lot of different things, especially homosexuality.
This is the 266th pope in the church's history. Let's take a quick look at our Black Swamp weather forecast with Lacey Hagan. Lacey, what's going on out there?
As we take a look at our current conditions, we are sitting at 31, so 1 degree below freezing, and we have a northwesterly breeze at 25 miles per hour. And those winds coming from the north are allowing us to have those lake effect snow. So hopefully we'll be getting rid of that soon. For tonight's forecast, we will dip down to 23 degrees, and we will also still have that northwesterly breeze at 18 miles per hour. So we can't rule out any snow showers, but for the most part, we'll just be cloudy. For tomorrow's forecast, we will get up to about 41 degrees, and we will still stay cloudy, and we will go down in our breeze a little bit, down to 10 miles per hour, so not so bad. And as we take a look out at our tomorrow night's forecast, we will be down to 28 degrees, and we change over to a southwesterly breeze. That's going to bring in some warmer temperatures for Friday's forecast. And now we'll take a look out at our temperatures. As you can see, for Bowling Green, we are at about 32 degrees, and everything in the northwest is a little bit more below freezing, which is where we had that lake effect snow that you saw periodically throughout the day. And now we'll look at our precipitation, and this is the last of the precipitation that we have coming towards us. That's snow again. And throughout the night, that can be kind of sporadic, but once this passes, that will be it for the next few days. And as we take a look out at our national radar, you can see that this system right here is what we had. The lake effect snow is what we are experiencing throughout the day, and the rest of the region looks like it's just pretty much dry. So now we look at our 5-day forecast. Thursday, we will be at 41, and Friday will be our highest temperature at 47 degrees. Unfortunately, we will not be able to carry that temperature throughout the weekend, and it looks like we will be getting some light snow showers on Sunday, only up to 36 degrees for St. Patrick's Day, and Monday we'll top it off at 43 degrees. So I don't know about you, but all I can say is spring is coming soon. That's the only thing getting me through it right now.
It is. Counting down the days for sure. Can't wait for that sunshine.
Me either.
Summer is supposed to be right around the corner. Time to relax and make some money. The BGSU Summer Job Fair was earlier today in the Union. A variety of companies were there, including Cedar Point and the Toledo Zoo. For some students were looking for a seasonal position, while others wanted a full-time job.
Anybody can go online and apply straight there, send your resume, say, I'm looking for a job, please hire me. But the career fairs, all of them, offer the opportunity to get a face-to-face meeting with the person, get your foot in the door and actually put a face to your resume.
Well, for me, as a student, I need a summer employment, especially if I'm taking classes here this summer. So it's a great opportunity for me to see who's in the community and who's looking for jobs for the summer employment.
If you went through any interviews at the job fair, it's recommended that you send a thank you note to the companies. It's March, and that's also Women's History Month. The Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies program teamed up with the Women's Center to host a series of events all month long. It kicked off last night with a panel discussion with Muslim women from our community. The rest of the month includes a keynote performance by slam poet Natasha T. Miller and a keynote presentation by Dr. Jesse Ramsey. You can visit the Women's Center homepage for a complete schedule of events. That's all I have for news tonight. Back to you, Kelly.
The Lady Falcons basketball team was in Cleveland this afternoon for a Mid-American Conference playoff game against Western Michigan. Find out how the Falcons fared when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. I'm here with Lance Morris and Kevin Peel of the BG Sports Radio. And first we're going to talk women's basketball. Earlier today, 12 o'clock in Cleveland, they played Western Michigan, and it was quite the close game, right guys?
Yeah, very close game. 55-53 ended up being the final score, and I know that BG has had some recent history of close games against Western Michigan, so to get the close win today was big and keep moving on in the tournament.
Yeah, they came out and played the way they needed to. They know that they can beat a team like that, and they just continue to play well in the tournament.
Yeah, I know when they played Western Michigan earlier in the season, Western Michigan won on a buzzer beater. It was 55-54. And now we play them today, 55-53, still close game. And we're actually going to talk to one of the basketball players really soon, Simone Eli, and she's going to tell us about basically what happened today and how they got it done. Hi, Simone.
Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. Just hanging out in Cleveland.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the game today?
Yeah. It was a really exciting game. We came out and played really well. We had an 18-point lead in the first half and really felt good about it. And went into halftime just saying we needed to come out into the second half kind of with the same mentality and same effort as we did in the first. And ended up not playing as well as we wanted to in the second half, and the game ended up being a lot closer than we wanted it. They came within 1 point, but one thing we did do was maintain the lead throughout the entire second half, and it ended up coming down to the wire, and that was pretty exciting for all of us.
Yeah, and you said it came down to the wire. We had Chrissy Steffen at the line with 4 seconds left. We were up 2. So can you tell us about what happened there when she was at the line?
Well, the bigger play kind of was before that, and what had happened was with 10 seconds left, Western Michigan had called a timeout, and we were up 1 point, 55-54, and they came and kind of ran a high ball screen. The point guard went off the ball screen and we ended up trapping the ball screen, and she turned it over. At that point, Christy was fouled, and then Christy was going to the line shooting 1-and-1. And she hit the first one, so we were up 2. She missed the second one, and Western got the rebound, came down, and ended up fumbling the ball, and time had expired. So we got a nice 2-point win, and going into tomorrow against Central Michigan, that'll be another great matchup. They're a great program, and we beat them handily earlier this season, but it's still going to be a pretty good, I guess, matchup for us, but we really look forward to it.
All right, thanks, Simone. All right, now we're going to talk about the Kent State game on Saturday. They won 76-35. What do you think that said about the team just coming in the first round, just basically blowing them out?
I think it shows how well they prepared, because when you play a team like Kent State, you know you have to play efficiently on both offense and defense. So they came out and showed other teams in the MAC, hey, we're here to win, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And definitely trying to show that they are still a very competitive team, and I think that win against Kent really showed that. BG, although maybe they don't have the best record they had last year, they still have the same firepower, the same will to win, and they're ready to go this year as well if we're trying to make an NCAA tournament run.
Right, and I think one of the big things that shows about the team in the Kent State game, we had scores all across the board. There wasn't really one. I mean, Chrissy Steffen posted probably the most points that game, but we have 5, 6, 7 players who can all score over 10 points if needed.
Yeah, when you have everyone on the team contributing in some way or another, that's a great way to get everyone involved, because not just one player is leading the way on scoring, but if everyone gets involved, everyone's going to be more happy and more efficient and play better on defense as well.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's discuss the current play of the team. We have highlights right now of this game. We have Alexis Rogers. She drives it in there. And then we have, up next, we have Steffen backing it in. Defense collapses on her. She dishes it out to Rogers for the mid-range jumper. Then Danielle Havel with a great save finds Bailey Karen Duff. He knocks down the 3. Next play, Karen Duff again, putting on a show from behind the arc. She knocks down a 3. But on the next play, she'll step in a little to knock down a mid-range jumper. She went on to score 13 points for the Falcons, and they go on to win it 76-35 in the first round of the MAC tournament. And so let's talk about the current play of the team now. What does the team need to do basically to win this next game against Central Michigan?
Well, Kelly, you just said Bailey Carenduff had 13 points in that game against Kent State. She's a young one. She's a freshman. So getting contributions like that when you have Alexis Rogers, Chrissy Steffen leading the team in scoring, I think that's huge for their success down the road. If they can keep Bailey off the bench doing well, and also a Jillian Halfhill, get her into the game. Danielle as well, get some points, some rebounds, and hopefully they can keep going.
Exactly. All right, when we come back, we'll turn our attention to the men's team. We'll show you how its season came to end, and we'll talk about the possibility of a new coach coming in the near future. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The Lady Falcons advanced to the third round of the MAC tournament with a 55-53 win over Western Michigan this afternoon. But the men's team saw its season end soon after a 63-52 loss to Miami, and Coach Lewis Orr explained what happened.
24 threes, which is a lot of threes for us. And they had some runs.
Okay.
Second half, we went, I think, 6.5 minutes without scoring. And at the end, we cut it to 2 with 7 minutes to go, and they hit some big shots. So, you know, it's unfortunate, but, you know, again, at the end of the day, the game is won or lost on the court. So.
The first round. Early in the first half, Chauncey Orr kicks it out to Luke Cross, and he'll knock down a 3. The Falcons go up 7-5. Next, Chauncey Orr looking to make something happen here. He tosses it and finds Austin Calhoun for the alley-oop. That makes it 16-13 BG. Miami with the ball here. They're on their three-point game as John Harris hits this tray to tie it up at 18. Jordan Crawford and Rayshawn Holmes with a little pick-and-roll action. Miami loses Holmes, and he comes up big with this slam to go up by 2. But the Falcons just cannot stop the Red Hawks from behind the arc as they knock down yet another 3. But here we go. We have Luke Cross wide open, and he'll show what he can do behind the arc. And the Falcons are now down 10. But Cross can't be stopped, and we have another 3 by Miami. Next offensive play. Does this look familiar? Luke Cross with yet another 3. Next offensive play, Jordan Crawford trying to make something happen, and he does. Rayshawn Holmes with another alley-oop. Next possession, BG gets within 4 on this 3 from Jordan Crawford. But Miami 3-ball is brutal. We have another one from Felder. You can see here BGSU just cannot stop the Red Hawks as we lost 52-63. All right, let's talk about that Miami game. We shot so many 3s, and so did Miami. Difference was their 3s were falling, ours were not, and I think that was probably the most brutal thing, maybe why we lost that game.
Absolutely, Kelly. Even when you have guys like Jordan Crawford and Luke Krause hitting 3s, they're not going to make them all. As earlier in the season, Jordan Crawford had a game where he shot 0 from the three-point line. That game was against Akron, and the Falcons just weren't even close in that game. So if they have games like that where they're missing 3s, you got to find ways to get it down inside to guys like Rashawn Holmes and Cam Black.
And also, sometimes you've heard the phrase, must say, live by the 3, die by the 3. In that highlight, we saw Miami making their 3s and BG missing them, and sometimes that just happens. It's an unfortunate reality, but the shots just weren't going down for them, and they lost the game.
Right. And let's talk about the season in general. We ended 13-19. Not one of our better seasons. What do you think was the reason behind that?
I think it was more so struggles on the road. They won a pretty decent amount of their home games. They won a couple against Eastern and against Kent State earlier in the year. But when they went on the road against teams like OU and Akron, they would just fall short, and they lost by more than 10 in both of those games. So when they're playing on the road, they have to find ways to be better.
Yeah, big difference in their record for the year. If they could have won some of those games, they would have had a maybe over 500 record. That ended up being the difference. Their home record was pretty good, and they won some games against Detroit and were close against Akron and OU, but couldn't quite pull it out at home. So you turn a couple of those, and their record's a lot better.
Right. And Coach Orr has 1 year left on his contract, and he talks a little bit about, in this next video we're going to show, about what he thinks is going to happen with his contract.
The only thing that's in my control is my faith and coaching the game. you know, I didn't hire myself, and I'm under contract, and that's how it is. So the rest, like I said, I'm trusting God. So I don't. That's what I'm gonna tell them. Just what I told you.
All right, well, we're definitely going to see a different team next year. What do you think we can expect to see from the Falcons?
Well, they are losing guys like Jordan Crawford and Austin Calhoun due to graduation, but they're going to have to rely on guys like Chauncey Orr and other guys like Cam Black and Rashawn Holmes to step up and fill the voids left by the seniors leaving.
And they can do that. Rashawn has the ability on the defensive end to lead the team. Great blocks. He had almost over 70 this year, so he did a great job. And also Chauncey, if he can pick up some points, I think he averaged almost 8 a game. If he can get that production up to maybe 15, I think they can find the scoring and try and fill that absence, although it will be tough without Jordan and Austin, but I think they can find a way to try and do so.
Okay. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about hockey and other things coming up tournament-wise. Stay with us. Welcome back. The BGSU hockey team has an uphill battle this weekend. The Falcons travel to Notre Dame to face off against the Fighting Irish for the second round of the CCHA playoffs. This is a best-of-3 game series starting up Friday night. Head coach Chris Bergeron knows that it will be a challenge, and here's what he has to say about it.
Notre Dame's going to be ready. They're playing at home. They've had 2 weeks to get rested. Are we more confident today than we were 2 weeks ago preparing for Notre Dame? Probably, but I don't think we were not confident that week. So I don't put a whole lot into, I haven't thought a whole lot about that. I know how we're going to have to prepare this week for a very difficult weekend.
All right, and let's talk about this upcoming playoff matchup with Notre Dame. What do the Falcons have to do to win these series?
Well, when you're playing a tough team like Notre Dame, you got to do a lot of things. It's all got to start with the senior leader, Andrew Hammond, back in goal. Back in now, he was injured for a while, and Tommy Burke was in, the freshman, did a great job. But with Hammond back there, you have a leader who can come out and help lead the team. But I think it's got to start with the power play. I think you're about to explain something about it with Notre Dame, that they've been good on the power play. BG, on the other hand, has been struggling a lot on the power play. In fact, they're at the bottom of the CCHA in terms of power play goals. You need those goals to get ahead in the game when you have a man advantage. When you're not scoring on the advantage, that's a disadvantage to yourself because you're giving away opportunities for goals. So we'll see, but they need to convert on that for sure.
Yeah, like you said, those power plays, we can't get into penalty issues against Notre Dame because we can't afford to be down a player and have their deadly power play against us. And, we've matched up with Notre Dame 4 games now. We're 1-3 against them, our only win at home. What do you think that says about the environment at Notre Dame?
I think it tells you just how good Notre Dame's home ice advantage is. When you look at the games they played earlier, yes, we did beat them over at the BGSU Ice Arena, but that might have been just a blimp for Notre Dame, and they play much better at home, so you think they have a much better advantage there.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens. BG struggled, of course, the last weekend of the season, which kind of is how BG dropped to that 9 spot in the CCHA standings with those losses to Notre Dame. But we'll see if they can recover. It's a different circumstance. BG's now seen them a couple more times, so maybe that's an advantage for BG in itself, being able to go see them and have a couple more chances to get W's.
Yeah, definitely. And so, like you said about Andrew Hammond, he's back in goal. He's feeling almost 100%, and here's what he has to say about Notre Dame and what's to come.
The only thing we learned from the last time we played is if we play a certain way, we won't win. And that's just black and white, as I'll put it. We have to play the game a certain. We played them 4 times this year. We felt like we played 1 game the way we needed to, and then 3 games we were way too off and on with that. And the results were 1-3.
All right, and this is the deciding game for the Falcons. We have 4 seniors on our team. They're not ready to go home. And the senior leadership has been outstanding. I know the last series with Lake Superior, we were down 0-1 in the series Friday night with a loss. And then those next 2 nights we came back and won it. And what do you think that shows, that we don't want to go home yet?
I'd say a lot of perseverance. You look Sunday night, BG won that game 7-0. They came out on fire scoring goals. If you're going to beat a team like BG, or Notre Dame, sorry, you have to play defense first, but they need the goal production because at times they've had the struggles of scoring goals and finding a way to put pucks in the back of the net. So coming up, they're going to need to do that, definitely, for sure.
Okay. And now we're going to go into that video of Hammond, and he's going to talk about right now what's coming up.
I just think we're a team that really cares about each other a lot, and anytime you get put in a situation where tomorrow's not a given, and then that could be kind of the last day you're with that group of guys, I think that kind of maybe just pushes us over the edge to kind of dig down and find something extra that we didn't know we had.
All right, and thank you to our panel for coming, Lance Morris and Kevin Peel. It's been great talking about what's to come, and hopefully we predicted right, and we'll see some more Falcon action to come up next week. All right, when we come back, we'll tell you what's coming up tomorrow night on BG24 News. Stay with us. Join us tomorrow at 5:30 for BG24 News. We'll tell you how people in other countries soon will be knowing breadsticks from a local Bowling Green restaurant. Thanks for watching BG24 Sports. I'm Kelly Hart. Good night.